Hi everyone! Ever been there? Your code is acting like it has a mind of its own. You're expecting some things to happen in a certain order, but they just do not. If you've ever been stuck in a callback hell, you know that's where things get messy real fast. But fear not, because today we are diving into the world of promises and async await, your new best friends for taming the wild west of asynchronous JavaScript. Before we dive in, let's talk about the async part. Synchronous code is like a line at a cashier. Each person gets served in order. Asynchronous code, on the other hand, is like placing multiple online orders simultaneously. You place the order and you move on. You get the result at a later stage. Things like fetching data, loading images, or even waiting for a user to type, those are all examples of asynchronous tasks. So what's the answer? Promises. Think of them as a pledge that something will happen eventually with the result. A promise can be in one of three states: pending, while the async action is in progress; fulfilled, when the task is complete with the result; or rejected if there was an error. Check out this simple example using fetch. The then part is executed when a promise is resolved, and you can chain them to work sequentially with the results. If something goes wrong, the catch will handle it. Promises are great to make sure you have the proper error handling. Now for the secret ingredient, async await. These two keywords are syntactic sugar on top of promises. They make your code feel like it's synchronous. When you have an async function, you can use await inside. This will pause the execution until the promise resolves. It makes our code feel like we are walking step by step. And if anything goes wrong, we can use the try-catch block to handle the error. See how this is way easier to read than the promise code? That's the power of async await. So when do you choose promises and when do you choose async await? Well, promises are the fundamentals, but async await makes it easier to read the code. Just remember that awaiting only works inside async functions. For simple promise flows, the then method can work, but for anything a bit more complex, async await will make your code much easier to understand. Now, let's bring it all together with a creative coding example. Imagine we want to load multiple images and then animate them on a canvas one after the other with an elegant fade-in effect. If we were to load them synchronously, images are loaded all at once. But the code is not waiting until the images are all available to paint them on a canvas. This would lead to, well, most likely a blank screen. To achieve the expected result, let's first create a promise that an image is successfully loaded. Then, for our example, we declare an array of 3 images. Now we can load the images in sequence using async await and trigger the animation once all the images are successfully loaded. See how it makes the code clean and organized? It really allows you to orchestrate complex actions in your creative coding projects. Let's have a quick look at the console. While loading the assets synchronously, you would see that the console log messages happen one after the other. And even though the images might not have been loaded yet, the code for the animation will already execute. In an asynchronous way, in your console, you would see the message "images loaded" once the promise of successfully loading all the images is fulfilled. Only then, you would see the start animating message. So there you have it. Promises and async await are your secret weapons for tackling the mess of asynchronous code. They will help you write cleaner, easier code to understand and make debugging much less of a nightmare. The more you practice, the better you will get. Both synchronous and asynchronous versions of the code are available on GitHub. The link is in the description. That's it for today. Happy coding and see you in the next one.